20 miles per hour, and some chance of rain in the area. But right now, very good conditions, as you see here at the Estadio Cementos Progreso. Here is the current Group E table entering this final day. Haiti and Guatemala will play later tonight to decide this group. Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines playing here in this early match. And both of them without a point in their first two matches, as Antigua and Barbuda have played two close games, a 2-1 defeat against Guatemala in their opener, and then they fell 3-0 to Haiti in their second game. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, meanwhile, a pair of 5-0 defeats against both Haiti and Guatemala, the two who top the group, and as mentioned, will play later tonight to decide the group. So it has been a tougher two games for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Antigua and Barbuda have been able to stick a little bit closer to their opponents. Just one goal scored between them so far in these two games. That belongs to Antigua and Barbuda in their first match against Guatemala in that aforementioned 2-1 defeat. Sakiti Meade scoring that goal in the 69th minute as they made Guatemala sweat in that game, as they had trailed 2-0 before halftime and wound up pushing for an equalizer late that didn't arrive. So a couple of decently strong performances for Antigua and Barbuda. And now both of them will hope to close out this appearance in the final round of qualifying with their first 3 points of this campaign. Antigua and Barbuda, their first participation in this final round, their 12th overall time participating in these U17 World Cup qualifiers. Again, the first time they've made it this far. They've had a decent record in U17 qualifying over the years, just have never quite been able to make it all the way through. St. Vincent and the Grenadines also, in their first time this far into qualifying, their first participation in the final round. 10th time overall that they've been in these U17 qualifiers. And looking for what would be their 6th victory all-time in qualifying. So the two sides will be ready to take to the pitch in just a moment.
Démosle la bienvenida a la clasificatoria sub-17 de Concacaf 2025 a los equipos nacionales de Antigua y Barbuda versus San Vicente y las Granadinas. Damas y caballeros, les pedimos ponerse de pie para el himno nacional de Antigua y Barbuda. continuación escucharemos el himno nacional de San Vicente y las Grenadines.
The national anthems of Antigua and Barbuda and St. Vincent and the Grenadines before their final respective match here in Group E at the Concacaf U17 Men's World Cup Qualifiers here in 2025. Both teams wearing their change kits today, with Antigua and Barbuda in the yellow and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the blue. We'll meet the starting 11 for both these sides, beginning with Antigua and Barbuda. They are coached by Auckland Jarvis, and his 11 consists of Eric Moreta between the posts, Brown, Lane, and Richardson, and Peters across the back line, Jackson, Skilling, Lee Francis, and Satchel in the midfield, Michael and Williams, the two forwards up front. Here are our match officials for this afternoon, led by Jonathan Laiton of Costa Rica. Eduardo Moraga and Soren Amalensi are the assistant referees. Jorge Ojeda is the fourth official today. The red kits with the black shorts and red socks for our match officials in this one. Two captains meeting at midfield. Vaughn Jackson wearing the armband for Antigua and Barbuda. Jonaldo Payne doing the same for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And now the starting 11 for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, coached by Ralph Stowe. He has David Butler in goal, Alexis Malcolm, Malachi McMaster, and Hooper Shaquan in a back three. Payne, Clark, Cunningham, Bishop, and Vakese in the midfield. Williams and Joseph are the forwards. So the Benna boys against St. Vinci, or against Vinci Heat, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And final huddles and final talks before kickoff here today. Again, this is the first of two matches here to close out Group E. Later tonight, the host nation in this group, Guatemala, will take on Haiti, with Guatemala having to win, Haiti needing only a draw to clinch the group and go to the U17 World Cup later this year. But first, these two nations will both look to end with a win. And for both these sides, a win at this final stage of qualifying, which, as mentioned, is the first time they've participated this deep into this competition, would be a big milestone moment. Still a very meaningful game for these two squads and these two nations. It will be St. Vincent and the Grenadines wearing the blue to kick things off. They'll attack from right to left in this first half, as Jonathan Laiton blows the opening whistle, and we are in motion once again in Guatemala City. Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, both looking to make history, even though they've been eliminated from advancing. And right to the attack go St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Pass to the end line that's tracked down and kept in play. Trying to wriggle around the outside and serve something into the area. Pass was pulled back and didn't connect. Antigua and Barbuda look to switch the play to this right side. Frantic opening, and now maybe an opportunity, but the whistle is gone for a foul. It's almost an electric start to this game. But the foul was given for this contact. Brandon Satchel called for that against Jonaldo Payne, who has stayed down afterward. Appears to be in some difficulty as well. Here are the two benches. There's Auckland Jarvis leading the Antigua and Barbuda side. Well, not the start to the match we wanted to see. Yes, St. Vincent and the Grenadines captain Jonaldo Payne appears to be struggling with that left knee area. Their bench looks on with some concern. Ralph Stowe, who's been a teacher and youth coach in St. Vincent for 4 decades, at the helm of this squad. So you see Jonaldo Payne back to his feet, at least nominally, but really struggling. So we'll see if he's able to continue. St. Vincent and the Grenadines with 10 on the pitch at the moment. They immediately launch it down the field and for a second time get themselves to the end line, but can't make anything from that situation. So goal kick. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines with a pair of 5-0 defeats to Haiti and Guatemala. Antigua and Barbuda just a 2-1 defeat to Guatemala, then a 3-0 loss to Haiti. So both without a point in this group so far. Neat switch with the feet. Now a ball attempted to be sprayed into the middle. It's cleared out by St. Vincent. Antigua and Barbuda, long soccer history. They've been a member of Concacaf since its founding. And their football association traces all the way back to 1928. If you look at their association badge that they wear on their shirts, it notes that founding date of 1928 as well. They're very proud of it, rightfully so. Good possession here from them as well as they have a player joining the attack and the defender Marlon Peters. Brandon Satchel then. Peters once again as they keep possession and try to build some rhythm early in this game. That will go out into touch and a throw for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Antigua and Barbuda at the senior level. Their national team made a run to the 3rd round of World Cup qualifying 10 years ago, well, 11 years ago now in 2014. That was a very deep and memorable run for them. And they won 5 games and had another draw along the way. They fell short in the final group with the U.S., Jamaica, and Guatemala, but still a historic achievement to make it that far in men's World Cup qualifying. As mentioned, if they could win today, it would be their first victory at the final stage of qualifying at the U-17 level. A little bit of space to operate here for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Paul Solane Vacasse. And then crowded out in the attacking half with Zibion Cunningham. Intense battles for possession there in the center of the park, and results in a free kick for St. Vincent and the Grenadines just inside the attacking half. Matthew Joseph got to the ball first and was fouled. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as they prepare for this free kick. They've been a Concacaf member since 1986. Qualified for one Gold Cup. That was in 1996. As this free kick served towards the edge of the area. You see, Jonaldo Payne is back on the pitch for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but he's still struggling, and now he goes down, and I think he's going to have to be substituted once play is stopped. But first, St. Vincent and the Grenadines attacking with 10 down this right side. Chance to swing in across, which they do, toward the top of the 6-yard area. And a free header, and the ball's in the back of the net, but it's ruled out for handball. Came off the arm of Camden Bishop before it was finished off. So it was a chance for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With 7 minutes on the clock, we remain goalless, and Jonaldo Payne does not appear that he's going to be able to continue. See the handball again. The initial headed ball was mostly missed, and well, it had fallen to Zibion Cunningham, and it was Camden Bishop called for the handball. Well, unfortunate for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, perhaps, but Jonaldo Payne clearly distressed, as he does not appear that he'll be able to continue. Well, let's see. Looks like he's staying on for now. Really struggling with that injury. Well, here he is now, still hobbling clearly, but trying to gut it out, and plays a good ball to the end line, and then the cross stabbed in with the right foot. It's a good attack from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it results in the first corner of the match. Well, really gutsy from Jonaldo Payne. You hope he's not causing further injury. Now the substitute will come on, it appears. This is Jawari Chance. Well, Jonaldo Payne playing that extra couple minutes and almost setting up a goal. Now he leaves. So the first corner of the game is swung all the way to the back post and over everyone's head and out. And a goal kick for Antigua and Barbuda. So Jawari Chance into the game, and at just the 9th minute. Now, apparently that did take a deflection off a defender, so it is a second corner in a row for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Matthew Joseph swings this in left-footed. It's a good delivery as well, and it's the second time in the last couple minutes that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have had a mostly unmarked header in the box that they've not been able to make proper contact with. It's good skill along the touchline by Jamor Williams. Now the first real touch for Jawari Chance. They win it back on the edge of the area as well. Cavante Clark laying it off for Jamor Williams. All very crowded at the top of the 18. Ball may have come back off a defender's face. He remains on the deck, and now play is stopped for a possible head injury. So it's been an unfortunate start to this game, with multiple players impacted by injury in the first 10 minutes. You see that replay, I'm not sure it came off his head, more like the side stomach area. Maybe he had the wind knocked out. I think the referee, like I did, thought that the ball had impacted Marco Michael's head. Looked that way at full speed. So you can understand him doing the safe thing and stopping play. So it's a drop ball for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're now attacking against 10 for the moment. Tried to swing an immediate cross. That was blocked. Still have it and looking for the quick underlap. It was blocked out. And that was an important block for Antigua and Barbuda as they buy themselves time to get their teammate back on the pitch. Loose ball by that end line area. Kept alive, but not accurately so. And Antigua and Barbuda throw, but they have another player down. And this time it's Seth Lane. Not down for very long, fortunately. It's a good effort to play that ball along. Greg Williams was able to turn and twist away and play it further down the line. That's a good turn in traffic as well, and a progressive ball forward sends Camden Bishop off to the races down this left wing side. And Bishop looks to cut back onto his right and does, and plays it to the near post, and the touch was a little bit loose. It's put out of play. Another corner coming for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're having a good stretch as they seek their first goal of the tournament. Cavante Clark, ready to take. Clark, a good ball in, and the header was right on target, but straight at the goalkeeper, Eric Moretta, who makes the first save of the game. Deliveries from these set pieces have been very good for St. Vincent and the Grenadines on their first three corners. Oh, that back pass directly to Jamor Williams. He looks to send his teammate away. Chance to cross in from the right side this time, and the pullback comes all the way through, and it had to be saved by Moretta, who didn't know much about it initially. And it's another good chance for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who really should be in front by now. Instead, Antigua and Barbuda go on the counter. Brandon Satchel cuts in on his left and tried to thread one through. Well, it's an entertaining first 15 minutes. This cutback did eventually reach Camden Bishop, and I'm not sure he was expecting it to. I think he thought that the defender was going to get there, and so when it did fall to him, he wasn't able to strike it with much conviction. And Eric Moretta, even though it was awkward for him, able to make the save. Now, with St. Vincent and the Grenadines stretched, Antigua and Barbuda are away, and they take the lead. A ruthless finish from Brandon Satchel. It only took a moment from back to front. Their second goal of the tournament, their first lead of the tournament. Antigua and Barbuda strike in the 15th minute. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines totally caught out, and they never could catch up to Brandon Satchel, who finished perfectly. Knew exactly where he wanted to put this, across the goalkeeper, into that far corner. You can't place it much better. And Satchel absolutely clinical in his first chance of the game. The first chance for Antigua and Barbuda, and they put it away.
Damas y caballeros, su atención por favor. Gol para el equipo de Antigua y Barbuda. Anota con el número 20, Brandon Satchel.
So, after St. Vincent and the Grenadines had been really good for most of these opening 15 minutes and had a few pretty good opportunities to take the lead, they did not. And Antigua and Barbuda capitalize on their first. Such is often the difference in international soccer. So Antigua and Barbuda, who have shown well at this tournament despite the 2 defeats. Very positive moment for them and a big opportunity for them now. Come home from the tournament with a milestone victory, even though it won't be enough to get them to the U17 World Cup later this year. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, still plenty of game left for them, and having made such a good start, they've shown that they can cause problems for Antigua and Barbuda. Can they finish one of these chances? They have it again in the attacking area, trying to get turned for the shot that's just wide. Well, another chance, this one for Vaughn Jackson, their captain. That one much more difficult. He did well just to turn and get it away. Created the space. Let's see it again. It's a great take off his right thigh, and then he does so well here and was just trying to curl it inside that near post and just missed. Very good effort. So a bit of a strange first 17 and a half minutes, really. That St. Vincent and the Grenadines have had most of the attacking moments, and yet it's Antigua and Barbuda who have the lead. Back to the attack. Go the boys in blue, but that's shouldered out and shielded out by Jaden Brown. These are the last couple of games in this group, of course. It has been quite a week of qualifying. Some other group deciders going on right now, most notably Mexico leading Nicaragua now 2-1 with about 30 minutes to play. Mexico only needing a draw in that game, so they are closing in on another U17 World Cup appearance. They, of course, have been very regular participants over the years and are, in fact, 2-time past winners even of the U17 World Cup. Had to sweat today. Nicaragua took a stunning lead in the 3rd minute of that game as Antigua and Barbuda almost created a turnover and almost had a chance for their 2nd goal. Very frantic game here, really stretched at both ends. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as they've been attacking generally, have left themselves really exposed on the counter. The couple times Antigua and Barbuda have been able to get out on the break, and we saw it again there. This will eventually roll out for a throw for St. Vincent. Yeah, so Mexico on course to make the U17 World Cup, even though they were stunned in the 3rd minute by a Nicaragua goal. But crucially, Mexico answered just a couple minutes later. And now they've taken the lead in the 2nd half. Playing, of course, in Toluca as the host nation in that group. Antigua and Barbuda looking to slice their way through. That was Greg Williams, who now tracks it again. Here's Brandon Satchel, the goal scorer, trying to slip it inside, looking for Greg Williams. Claimed instead by the goalkeeper, David Butler. The counter-attack for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's going to reach this left side, but the first touch wasn't quite good enough from Camden Bishop. Otherwise might have had a chance to get something away there and had another teammate in the box as well. So 20 minutes in, it's very up and down. It's Antigua and Barbuda with the lead thanks to that Brandon Satchel goal 5 minutes ago. You see the rain starting to fall. There was that threat of rain at the start of this game, and that rain has arrived now. As this heads out, and that was last touched by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So this will be the first corner of the game for Antigua and Barbuda. And the rain really falling heavily at the moment, now that it's arrived. The kind of conditions where you just want to get something on target and see what happens whenever you're the attacking side. They take this corner short, and that didn't really work out for Antigua and Barbuda. There's certainly plenty of times and places for short corners, and those routines can work very well sometimes, but when it's just started raining heavily, you would think you'd want to swing something in and force the keeper to try to come claim it. Not what they chose to do there, and it ended up being a waste on this occasion, and St. Vincent the Grenadines looking to profit at the other end. Right side of the box now. What can they create from this? Trying to cut back in on his left. Then accelerating to the end line, kept it in play, and it was alive, and Eric Moretta with a rather interesting clearance. I think he could have picked that ball up, and he chose to kick it out instead, which keeps the play alive. Now trying to wind his way back into the area, and doing so, and winning a corner was Camden Bishop. Another wild sequence after this physical play. And it has been given as a goal kick now. I thought the initial indication was for a corner, but not the case. So we approach the midway point of this first half, and Antigua and Barbuda surviving those St. Vincent attacks so far and maintaining their lead. We mentioned Mexico with that 2-1 advantage over Nicaragua. They're in the 66th minute now in Toluca. Guyana in a 0-0 game with the British Virgin Islands. They're about midway through the first half. Guyana still have an opportunity to win their group. They have to win that game to have a chance. Group B has been a fascinating one in this tournament. That one being hosted, of course, in San Jose, Costa Rica. Costa Rica, the host nation, heavily favored to win that group and advance. And still very well may do so. They top the group heading into this final day as this left-footed strike from well outside the area flies over the bar. Guyana started the day just 2 points back of both Costa Rica and Trinidad and Tobago, who play each other later tonight. So obviously somebody's going to come away with points from that, which means Guyana, not only do they have to win, they would really need to win by a very large number. This will be a throw for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Guyana, if they win that game, they would go to 8 points temporarily at the top of Group B. Their goal differential was just +3 coming into this game. Trinidad's was +11, Costa Rica +17. So they'd have to win that game by a ton of goals and then hope for a draw between Costa Rica and Trinidad so that they would both stay on 8 points and Guyana could somehow win a tiebreaker. But again, they first would have to score many, many goals against the British Virgin Islands, who have proven to be a tough team in this tournament. 1 win and 2 defeats, but they've hung in against everybody. So, very tall task for Guyana. But regardless, Guyana have had a really good showing at this tournament. But Costa Rica and Trinidad and Tobago still the two much more likely sides to go through as they'll face off later tonight in San Jose. Now over the top, this is floated and not able to be taken in. And it'll be a throw for Antigua and Barbuda as we eclipse the 25-minute mark. Playing in a sudden downpour here in Guatemala City. And this will be a free kick as well. And later tonight here at this same venue, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, what will be, as far as the locals are concerned, the main event. No disrespect to these two sides, of course. We've talked about what an important game this is for both of them and their growth, but it'll be the group decider later tonight in this Group E as Guatemala take on Haiti. With Haiti only needing a draw because of their superior goal differential going in. Guatemala having to win that game, but of course playing on home soil. So this is lofted into the box and lobbed up into the air. This will go out for a corner kick for Antigua and Barbuda. And rain that just keeps getting heavier. increasingly challenging conditions as Brandon Satchel plays this to the back post. Goalkeeper rises, can't claim it cleanly. Understandable in these conditions, but that's exactly why you want to force the goalkeeper to handle it. Still alive on the edge of the box, and now the flag is up for offside. St. Vincent and the Grenadines trying to counter quickly. They have a man free on this right side, but offside once again. Earlier today, in other group action, it was Curacao with a entertaining 4-2 victory over Anguilla, as this takes a double deflection and falls for a strike that flies over the bar. Chance for a second for Antigua and Barbuda. Like the first, it came out of nowhere. Fell to Adonai Lee Francis. Hit it pretty well, but rising over that crossbar and out for a goal kick. Very difficult for these players. This torrential rain that only started about 10 minutes ago, but let's see how much water is already accumulating. Back into the area they come, lobbed into the middle. This is a chance, and it's put just wide. Vaughn Jackson with a great opportunity. Difficult technique to take that on the full volley, especially with it dropping out of the sky and dropping out of this torrential rain, but about 8 yards out. That was a real chance for Antigua and Barbuda's second. They wanted a free kick there. They don't get one. Now St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There's some numbers in the attack and a surging run by Cavante Clark. Clark lays it off on this right side. First time ball into the middle was decent, but too close to the keeper. Eric Moretta able to claim. Immediately plays it down the pitch. That's a classy touch initially, and then into the challenge flies Greg Williams. Couldn't quite win it, but then able to win it back. Well, it's been scrappy. It's been frantic. It's been disjointed. Been a really entertaining first half an hour, though. Between the conditions and the up and down nature of this game, chances coming out of nowhere. That's good skill as well to get himself to the edge of the area. And now from a long way out, that wasn't too far away either. They're an entertaining side, Antigua and Barbuda. Adonai Lee Francis involved in that attack. I don't know that they would say they've begun the game all that well, but when they do pick up the ball, they're always looking dangerous. Even though St. Vincent and the Grenadines have had more of the possession, more of the territorial attacks, Antigua and Barbuda have had more cutting edge when they've gained it. Here comes Camden Bishop again, though. Over half an hour into this game. A step over as he left it behind temporarily, and lays it off for Juari Chance, who tried to float in a cross that was blocked back out. Vaughn Jackson will try to calm things down for Antigua and Barbuda. Haven't been a lot of calm moments in this game so far. Both teams wanting to get out and run as soon as they have the chance. Space for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They wanted the free kick, and now they do have one indeed. The referee initially was trying to play advantage as Cavante Clark was fouled. Still 2-1 to Mexico. We talked about that scenario a few minutes ago. They're now in the 72nd minute as they continue to lead Nicaragua. Nicaragua would have to come back and win that game in order to turn that group around and go through to the World Cup. Otherwise, Mexico heading that way as things stand. Monte Clark, his free kick was a good one, just over the bar. Now St. Vincent and the Grenadines, what a through ball that is, and they're in down this left side again, trying to pull it all the way back. Here comes the effort, and it squirms in. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have their first goal of the tournament, and they're level in the 33rd minute. 1-1. Zibion Cunningham with the finish. What a great ball it was that started this attack, slicing through the back line. The pullback from Camden Bishop, and arriving late to tuck it away, Zibion Cunningham. Goalkeeper Eric Moretta got his fingers to it. Let's see it here. Well, really, he got his feet to it, went for it with his feet, and it squirmed between and under and through. But that's an example of why, in these conditions, you just want to get your shots on frame and force the keeper to make a save. Difficult to do that with the rain coming down like this. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines, another player down for them. This is Alexis Malcolm. They've already had to make one substitution already. St. Vincent have had a strong first half overall. Now have a goal to show for it. Player perhaps struggling with a cramp for Antigua and Barbuda as well. Now, earlier today, we mentioned Curaçao had an entertaining 4-2 win over Anguilla. Curaçao wrapping up their tournament with a really strong showing. 3 wins and 1 defeat, 9 points. They're level with Canada at the top on points, but Canada have the tiebreaker by some distance because Canada are a +20 in goal differential going into their final match later tonight against Bermuda. Curaçao, after their win today, +3 in goal differential. So Curaçao eliminated from contention despite their strong tournament. Bermuda, 3 points behind Canada, but 18 goals behind them in goal differential. So even if Bermuda were to pull a shock and win later tonight, they would have to win by 9 goals in order to turn that goal differential around. So Canada, although not officially through yet before they take to the pitch later tonight, would seem to be effectively so, barring quite a miraculous performance from Bermuda and quite a disastrous one from Canada. Unfortunately, this player for Antigua and Barbuda appears to be Jaden Brown. He's having to be stretchered off. So concerning for him and for Antigua and Barbuda, who are going to have to make a change here, as the rain is coming down even harder now. So Jaden Brown has to leave the game, and Najante Wijnaldum will come in. So both sides forced to make an early substitution in this match. And this is just a goal kick for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Antigua and Barbuda were looking for a free kick along that end line. Well, it seemed like the rain was starting to ease off a little bit a couple minutes ago, but definitely not the case now. Crazy conditions for these players to deal with. Antigua Barbuda on the attack, trying to restore their lead. Their goal scorer, Brandon Satchel, dispossessed, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines looking for the counterattack, but too much weight on that ball. Eric Moretta takes it in. Brandon Satchel gave Antigua and Barbuda the lead in the 15th minute. Zibian Cunningham equalized a few minutes ago for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it's the Bena Boys 1, Vincy Heat 1. And now a free kick coming for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Every time you think it can't rain harder here in Guatemala City, it does. So far, the rain with the most impressive performance in this game. Both teams have been entertaining. Both teams very willing and eager to attack. It's been fun to watch, but getting tougher to play coherent soccer in these conditions for both teams. Matthew Joseph will be taking this free kick. Joseph lifting it to the top of the 6, came off a defender, and then was swung clear. And flag has gone up for offside against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Still 2-1 to Mexico over Nicaragua. 82nd minute now in Toluca. And Nicaragua would need at least 2 late goals to turn that around and win the group. Mexico only needing a draw from that game and currently leading late on. Still goalless between Guyana and the British Virgin Islands. They're in the 39th minute now. Mentioned Curaçao's 4-2 win over Anguilla earlier. Also had an entertaining one earlier between Barbados and Belize. Neither of those teams were still in contention in their group, but a 4-3 win for Barbados over Belize. Quite a comeback in the second half by Barbados. Barbados had a good showing against Mexico a couple days ago, and they cap off their tournament with a really good and very entertaining and fun watch win. That game also taking place in Toluca at the Mexican Football Federation headquarters earlier today. St. Vincent and the Grenadines trying to turn this one around before halftime. Trailed 1-0 to a 15th minute goal. Equalized past the half-hour mark. Now in the final 5 minutes of regular time in the first half, they have to defend as here comes the counter for Antigua and Barbuda. And the cross in is straight at the goalkeeper. David Butler able to gather. You can hear the water rushing toward the drainage areas in our pitch side microphones. Sounding like a waterfall by the side of the pitch. Slid out here, and it is a throw for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You see the attempted cross here, going for the pullback. Not getting his angle right. So I hope you're enjoying this one. It's been an entertaining first half in wild conditions, and now you're getting treated to some nice soothing waterfall white noise as well. As the water on the side of the pitch makes its way to those drainage areas by our microphones, you see a player is down for Antigua and Barbuda. That's Brendan Skilling. 3 more big games coming up later tonight. We talked about Canada and Bermuda, with Canada having mostly clinched a group victory and a ticket to the U-17 World Cup, but having to make sure when they face Bermuda later tonight. And then 2 really big ones at 8 o'clock Eastern, kicking off simultaneously. One in San Jose, Costa Rica. Costa Rica taking on Trinidad and Tobago, level on points in their group. Costa Rica owning the goal differential tiebreaker, so only needing a draw. Trinidad having to win that game in order to go to the World Cup. And right here at this stadium in Guatemala City, the host nation Guatemala facing Haiti, with Guatemala having to win and Haiti only needing a draw, as they both come in on 6 points at the top of that group. St. Vincent of the Grenadines looking for a lead before half, but they're offside here. This one bounces through to David Butler. Had some group deciders last night as well. Half of the groups wrapped up yesterday. Honduras advanced with a 1-0 win over Puerto Rico. Great moment for them, a 67th minute goal, the difference there. The United States, after 2 very lopsided victories, eased past Cuba 2-0. Cuba was able to hang around in that game, but the U.S. too much for them in the end. And they go back to another U-17 World Cup. This will roll out of play and a throw for Antigua and Barbuda as we head for the final stages of this first half. Also at this same stadium last night, El Salvador with a 2-1 win over Jamaica. And El Salvador had to win that game. Jamaica only needed a draw to go through, but it was El Salvador with the 2-1 win. Flag has stayed down here, and it's a chance for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's tame and straight at the goalkeeper. I think some of the players were expecting the flag to go up for offside. It never did. Turned into a good chance for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who have had opportunities to score more than once in this half. This was Jamor Williams, who was onside. Tried to cut back in on his left, and that cost him a bit as he lost his momentum and then had to snatch at it. This is tracked by Malachi McMaster, who does well. See how much stoppage time we're going to have. Might be a decent number. We've had a few different injury stoppages in this first half. Antigua and Barbuda trying to get that lead back before half. Edge of the area. This is Greg Williams facing up. And then pulling it back for a right-footed shot that's just wide. Good effort from Marco Michael. As you see, 3 additional minutes indicated. And Antigua and Barbuda almost regain the lead on a spectacular effort from outside the box. Flag is down here as well. And put it out of play. This will be a corner for Antigua and Barbuda. We're having a little surge of their own here in first half stoppage time. Referee warning the combatants in the penalty box before this corner is taken by the goal scorer, Brandon Satchel. Bounces once, settled on the edge of the area, trying to volley it back in, looking for a handball, which is given. It was outside the area. It will just be a free kick for Antigua and Barbuda, but a dangerous one. Let's see. Yeah, good decision. Arm was definitely up. Of course, there's always the debate about whether the arm is in a natural position or not, but certainly came off the right arm. Juan Jackson, along with Marco Michael. There's a 5-man wall being set up by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Brandon Satchel also around it. He runs over it. It's hit with the right, and that appeared to be traveling inside that far post for a moment, but just wide. Antigua and Barbuda again close to regaining the lead, and then a careless giveaway by St. Vincent and the Grenadines, giving Antigua and Barbuda a late attacking throw as they continue to apply pressure in the final seconds of this first half. Greg Williams battling in the corner, wins another corner. Likely the final attack of this first half. Satchel to take once again. Curled into the 6-yard box and headed wide. Some real opportunities for Antigua and Barbuda late in this first half. It appears that we'll head into halftime level at a goal each. And there indeed is the halftime whistle. It was quite a first half. Here in Guatemala City, it was Antigua and Barbuda striking first against the run of play on a brilliant counterattack from Brandon Satchel in the 15th minute. The equalizer came in the 33rd from Zibion Cunningham. Other good chances in either direction. Tons of rain, tough conditions, good game. At the break with 45 gone and 45 to go in this Group E finale for these two nations in this tournament, it is Antigua and Barbuda 1, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 1. Players and officials back out for the second half between Antigua and Barbuda and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their final Group E match, as both have been eliminated from contention, but both want to go home with a victory, which would be a big milestone moment for both of their programs. Antigua and Barbuda grabbed the lead in the 15th minute of the first half before St. Vincent and the Grenadines equalized in the 33rd. Brandon Satchel and Zibion Cunningham with the goals. And the rain continues to fall heavily here in Guatemala City, as it's been doing since about the 20th minute of this game. Our center referee, Jonathan Laiton, with his hands full trying to manage this game and these conditions. Both teams had to make early substitution changes, with Jaden Brown forced off for Antigua and Barbuda. Jonaldo Payne, the captain for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, having to go off in the opening 10 minutes. In the second half, it's Antigua and Barbuda to kick things off. In the yellow, they'll be attacking from right to left. And there is our opening whistle, and off we go again in Guatemala City. Both these sides participating in the final round of U17 World Cup qualifying for the first time. Both trying to leave this tournament with their first victory at this stage of the campaign. Antigua and Barbuda had the superior goal differential coming into this game. Goals even through the first 45. St. Vincent and the Grenadines starting the second half looking for an attack, and they'll have an attacking throw on that far side. No other changes at half for either team. This one skims all the way through. Would have been a corner kick, apparently, so it's put out for a throw instead. Defending from Cody Richardson for Antigua and Barbuda. Jaymore Williams by the corner flag pulls it back. And that'll be an Antigua and Barbuda throw. Both teams had stretches where they were on top in the first half, but both teams looked their most vulnerable to the counterattack when they were on top. Both tended to get themselves caught up the pitch. Left themselves very open at times. And then from a neutral standpoint, you'd hope that that's the case again in the second half, because it was fun to watch. And these conditions making it more and more difficult to play, but both teams doing their best to make things happen regardless. Continues to be the kind of game and the kind of conditions where you want to test each other's goalkeeper as much as you can. We saw in St. Vincent and the Grenadines goal how it squirmed under Eric Moretta. This is played into the box at the other end, and that was awkward for David Butler. He's able to punch it out of play unconventionally. Antigua and Barbuda throw. See how Antigua and Barbuda get themselves caught up the pitch sometimes. Resulting attempted through ball, rolled out of play. And later tonight on this same pitch, the group decider between Haiti and Guatemala. Guatemala will be roared on by another vociferous crowd here, of course. There's a free kick given away by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Whether that's actually an advantage for Guatemala or not, we'll see. It's a clear foul as you look at that replay. We'll talk more about it tonight. Guatemala's head coach admitting that his players been a little nervous playing in front of home fans in their first couple of games. And tonight it's must win for Guatemala. A draw for Haiti would be enough to see them through, so pressure will be on Guatemala, but so will the backing here at the Estadio Cementos, Progreso. First, these two sides want to end their campaign with a victory. Both certainly look capable of it. It does feel like there are more goals to come in this game. Who will grab the next one? And here's a strike from outside the area. It's a good one on target. Moretta able to take it eventually. Juan Jackson has had a couple good shots in this match, letting that one go. Free kick for Antigua and Barbuda. Into the box it goes, and the headed ball is just wide of that far post. Well, it wasn't the kind of free kick where you expected danger to immediately result from it, but it did. And it was not far away for Greg Williams. It's a direct free kick straight down the middle, and Williams inches wide of that far post. Here's Brandon Satchel, who scored their goal in the 15th minute. Back with it now. Not able to complete it to someone else. Went final in Toluca, by the way. Nicaragua scored a late equalizer, but could only draw with Mexico 2-2. This will roll through to Eric Moretta. It's quite a game there in Toluca. Nicaragua. In any other circumstances, that'd be a great result for them, drawing 2-2 with Mexico. On Mexico's home soil, it just wasn't enough for Nicaragua today under the circumstances. They needed to win that game to win the group. Mexico do go through to another U17 World Cup. Not as comfortably as they might have expected. In the second half now between Guyana and the British Virgin Islands, that game's still goalless. Guyana have to win by a huge score there to have a chance to win that group. Antigua and Barbuda probing around the edge of the attacking area, but not quite able to put something together from it so far. Now play is stopped. Ball to the face, potentially. And Malachi McMaster. So McMaster off for further treatment for the moment. Drop ball for Najante Wijnaldum. Lots of space on this left side for Cody Richardson, floating a ball to the top of the 18. Antigua and Barbuda did well to find the spot where that extra man was. Now St. Vincent and the Grenadines lobbing a counterattack the other way. Even with 10, falls for them in the edge of the area, and it's struck just wide. Skidding off that slick surface. Looked like it might nestle inside that post, but it just hopped outside instead. Came off the back heel of an Antigua and Barbuda defender. And so close for Camden Bishop, who set up their goal in the 33rd minute with that assist, the cutback that eventually fell to Zibion Cunningham. Had a couple chances as well. This one raked into the middle at the other end, and it'll result in the first corner of the second half for Antigua and Barbuda. Marco Michael will take this corner. Brandon Satchel had been taking the corners in the first half for them. Michael's ball in was quite decent and resulted in a chance for Vaughn Jackson, who felt he should have done better. Seemed to come off the top of his head and spun wide. Minutes of the second half played. Satchel in the 15th, Cunningham in the 33rd. That ball against the grain, really clever one, but flag up for offside. Guyana have taken the lead against the British Virgin Islands. Guyana are down to 10 in that game, so they're playing a man down, but they are in front 1-0 early in the second half. And Guyana very unlikely to win that group, the way things were at the start of this day. But it'd still be a great showing for them to come away with another victory and finish on 8 points in that tough group in San Jose. It's so tough if you're not one of the favorite nations, the host nations in many cases, to win your group outright and go to the World Cup, but still big steps for so many of these programs to show well and win games, get results, prove that they can win at this level consistently, continue to build their respective programs. For Guyana, lots more positive steps forward for them in this tournament, regardless of whether they win that group or not. Antigua and Barbuda trying to find a way through. They'll have another throw. St. Vincent and the Grenadines with a player might have been caught by a spare stud there. Camden Bishop apparently impacted. Flag is up there. That ball apparently went out across the end line. Good attempt to dig that cross out. This is a corner, apparently, for Antigua and Barbuda. I thought the assistant referee on the far side was saying that the cross had gone out of play, but it must have been a block or a deflection. So an in-swinging corner. Played into the mix, all kinds of bodies flying around. Bit of danger for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they look to create on the counter. They'll hustle this down. Doing so is Vaughn Jackson up against 2 yellow shirts. Got past one, not a second. Antigua Barbuda getting back in transition defense a bit better in the second half. Now a foul given against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Turned over on that midfield stripe by Antigua Barbuda. St. Vincent and the Grenadines a chance to counter. Ball put in across the face of goal, and Moretta able to scoop it up. And then allowed to run out of play. Sloppy sequence from Antigua Barbuda as we approach an hour played. Comes all the way through. Not sure if the offside flag would have gone up against Vaughn Jackson. Touching it back into his own area to pick it up, David Butler. So 60 minutes on the clock. Antigua Barbuda 1, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 1. Brandon Satchel tallied for Antigua Barbuda in the 15th. It was Zibion Cunningham in the 33rd for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Trying to shield this ball out of play. The foul given against the attacker. Clutching that shoulder. Cody Richardson maybe falling awkwardly as he was grabbed. St. Vincent and the Grenadines trying to find a go-ahead goal. Not led in this game, not led in this tournament. Now the counter from Antigua Barbuda. Greg Williams has had moments of danger throughout. Another foul given away by them. Here comes a change for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They will take off Jamor Williams and replace him with Ashford Grant Spring. Jamor Williams comes off in the 62nd minute. Second change for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Antigua Barbuda have still made just one. A throw in their attacking third. Alexis Malcolm lobs it back in play. Second ball picked up by Matthew Joseph. Cuts his way into the area and tried to unleash with his left foot. It was blocked. Blasted out of play to prevent a counterattack. A sloppy turnover there by Antigua Barbuda. St. Vincent and the Grenadines continuing to have more of the attacking time. Struggling, though, to break down the final line. Cooper Shaquan. It's a good ball down the line. Putting it out of play. He's able to start his team forward. It's not a convincing clearance from Eric Moretta. Two-man game. Vaughn Jackson bringing it under control for St. Vincent. The cross put in low, didn't beat the first man. And Antigua and Barbuda now trying to create something the other way. Don't have a lot of attackers forward. This is hustled down by the end line. And now it's out of play for Greg Williams. Oh, yanked down there was Matthew Joseph after a good turn. This is the first card of the match. Joseph, a bit of skill here, and he was away. A little pullback from Marco Michael, who knew exactly what he was doing. So it's Michael who draws the card in the 65th minute. Free kick skidded in low. Some progress down this right side for Antigua and Barbuda. They have two arriving in the box. Ball floated in there. Good chance! 2-1! Another lightning counterattack for Antigua and Barbuda. Just like in the first half, they were on the back foot, and against the run of play, they strike to take their second lead of the game. Greg Williams with the headed finish. They just couldn't stop that progress down the right side. The cross was excellent. The header even better. So well steered inside that far post. The cross in was from Adonai Lee Francis, who did so well in the first place with that run down the right flank. Curled it in, and the angle on the header, so good from Greg Williams. Two very high-quality finishes from Antigua and Barbuda, who haven't created that many chances today and haven't had a ton of the ball. They've been very clinical when they have. It's a gut punch again for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who had started this second half pretty well, as they did in the first half, but again find themselves behind. They're offside here as well. This is going to stay in play for Brandon Satchel. Trying to increase their lead. Into the middle it goes. It was scuffed. There's some traffic either side. Antigua and Barbuda trying to put this game away now. It's a good run, though, from St. Vincent. And still going. The attempted layoff, the man was offside. Camden Bishop had done so much good work and then didn't realize his teammate was in an offside position. Classy takedown by Greg Williams after scoring a moment ago, but then wasn't able to release his teammate. Beyond Adonai Lee Francis this time, as we're into the final quarter of this game. Cooper Shaquan almost dispossessed, but pressed through that. Lobs it down the line. This is onside. But then closing quickly. Tackled off of Camden Bishop. Game getting stretched again. Those opportunities in transition are there either direction. Been the case for large parts of this match. It's made it absorbing to watch, even though both of these teams were eliminated entering play. Seth Lane floats it far side, then headed into the middle. Goalkeeper has to come out and does. Ball launched down the middle. It was 1-on-3 there for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not a bad idea, though, because Cavante Clark's been dangerous in this game. A tough ask for him there against 3 yellow shirts. St. Vincent and the Grenadines trying to equalize for a second time in this game. Many of their dangerous moments have come through that guy, Camden Bishop. Jawari Chance with the throw. Stay with us at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. 2 big matches kicking off to conclude this qualifying tournament. Costa Rica and Trinidad and Tobago. That will decide that group in San Jose, Costa Rica. Costa Rica just need a draw from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Looking for another equalizing goal, and they almost had a spectacular one. Another effort from outside the area that was so close from Matthew Joseph. Joseph able to press away here and hit it so well. There was not much that Eric Moretta was going to be able to do if that was on frame. Double change now for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Off comes Camden Bishop. He had the assist on their goal in the 33rd minute. Several other dangerous moments as well. Ramel Dixon comes on for Alexis Malcolm. Shane Glasgow, the player who comes on for Bishop. So they have 1 change remaining, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Antigua and Barbuda still have 4 substitutes remaining. 4 substitutions, that is. They have more substitutes than that, but they can only use 4 of them. They've only used just the 1 that came through the injury in the first half, and that was almost danger for them as it's put out of play rather desperately but effectively by Seth Lane. This is out for a goal kick for Antigua and Barbuda. Rain has eased off in this second half. And even if it stays away, it will make for a slick surface for that Haiti-Guatemala match later tonight at this same stadium. That is going to be a feverish atmosphere. With the Guatemala fans out to support their home nation. Guatemala will try to go to their first ever U17 World Cup. Antigua and Barbuda looking for a 2-goal advantage. Ball cannons around and stays in play crazily. Then they were asking for a free kick on the edge of the box. And Jonathan Laitone declined to award one. That's good work from Matthew Joseph under pressure from 2 attackers. Right now it's Antigua and Barbuda trying to take firm control of this game. Already leading 2-1, and they'll have a corner. Brandon Satchel in with the left foot. Out comes the goalkeeper, does not get there. It's 3-1. It's a second as well for Greg Williams. He scored both in this second half to put Antigua and Barbuda in full control. Two with his head. And from 1-1 at halftime, it's a 3-1 lead for the Bena boys. perfect ball in from Brandon Satchel, who now has a goal and an assist tonight. David Butler came off his line, but too late. And it was Williams there first to bury it. And Antigua and Barbuda, once again, clinical when given the chance. So a tall hill to climb now for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They might be able to jump on one here. It's a chance around the goalkeeper. Angle is extreme. Back in front it goes. It's off the line. And then put out of play for a corner. And with 15 minutes to go, that sums up the day for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They've created chances. They've just not been able to take enough of them. And Antigua and Barbuda have been more opportunistic. It was great effort from Cavante Clark. Got himself around the keeper, but then was along the end line and couldn't really shoot. Off the line from the defender. And the corner was not given. Apparently it must have come off a St. Vincent and the Grenadines player somehow. Maybe the offside flag had been raised, but either way, it's definitely up now. So Satchel in the first half for Antigua and Barbuda, and then Williams in the 66th and 74th minutes. 2 goals, 8 minutes apart to give the Bena boys a cushion in this game. Floated in. Confusion for Antigua and Barbuda. And then in low, but the goalkeeper had gotten back, and Eric Moretta able to make the stop. Now another counter that looks dangerous for Antigua and Barbuda, and into the middle it goes, and it was almost a fourth. Skimmed off the top of the head and over the bar by Vaughn Jackson. Having scored twice, Greg Williams almost had an assist here. Took a deflection, and Jackson not quite able to readjust in midair quickly enough, and an apparent injury to St. Vincent's goalkeeper David Butler. Two changes now for Antigua and Barbuda. Jamarian Edwards coming on. Adonai Lee Francis, who had the brilliant assist for their second goal. One of those removed. Also, Jaquan Watts is coming into the game. Well, it's a triple change, actually. Third player was hiding from us initially, but it will also be Sakiti Mead checking in. He had scored their previous goal in the tournament against Guatemala several nights ago. So Antigua and Barbuda making that triple change to try to close this game out. Nothing happening on that free kick for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Frustrating game from their perspective because they've had a lot of good passages of play. They've had some good chances. Certainly have had opportunities to score more than just one goal, but they've not made enough of their chances, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have. Great ball into the middle. It could set Antigua and Barbuda away, and it does. Tons of room down this left side as this is hunted down by Vaughn Jackson. Jackson with the step-overs. And the ball into the middle was cut out. Handball called, and free kick for St. Vincent and the Grenadines coming up in the final 10 minutes of the 90. Canada and Bermuda about 20 minutes away from kickoff. Elsewhere, Canada have mostly wrapped up that group unless Bermuda win that game by 9 goals. Free kick here for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Remember, at 8 o'clock, Costa Rica and Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti and Guatemala on this same pitch. 2 big games. Should be exciting games. Great atmospheres involving host nations. And trips to the U-17 World Cup in Qatar later this year at stake. Big finish to this U-17 Men's World Cup qualifying in Concacaf. Still 10 minutes to go in this one. St. Vincent and the Grenadines trying to get back into it. And that free kick will be retaken. A yellow card has been given to Hooper Shaquan, apparently, of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's being pulled away from the official now by his teammate, Ramel Dixon. Well, what happened here? A little bit of shoulder, and then was there a sneaky arm out there from Shaquan Hooper, or Hooper Shaquan? That was what the referee saw. So one booking aside in this game. Marco Michael was booked earlier for Antigua and Barbuda. Cavante Clark curled his free kick just wide a moment ago. This time puts it in low and off the side netting. Well, he continues to come close from these set pieces. He curled one just over the bar in the first half. He's been hitting them very well. Again, it's a good idea on this slick surface. Try to skid it off that turf and see what happens, but just outside that near post. They've had a lot of good attacking effort today, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's not enough finish. Still 1-0 to Guyana over the British Virgin Islands in the final 10 minutes there. Guyana continuing to play with 10 men. Now here's a chance maybe for St. Vincent. Cutting in on the left, trying to create an opportunity. It comes through eventually, squirts off a deflection, kept in play on the end line, and now is touched out. It will be a corner for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Matthew Joseph jogs over to take. Joseph with the left foot towards the backside. He put it onto his teammate's head. Now trying to wriggle free. One shot was blocked. Still loose, looking for a penalty there. Referee waves that away. Now along the end line. That's going to be another corner. Matthew Joseph was able to hustle it down. They continue to knock St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Just not been able to crack the door open enough so far. They've been unfortunate today in that so many times the ball has fallen to their attackers in the penalty area when their back has been to goal, and it's been in trying to get themselves turned and get strikes away that things have often broken down. This ball to the near post is headed back out. Eric Moretta has had a couple shaky moments, but he's made some saves when needed as well. Again, in these conditions, you can't fault a keeper for not looking totally clean. No more time wasting, says referee Jonathan Laiton. Next time will be a booking for Antigua and Barbuda. Into the final 5 of the 90. Satchel in the 15th. Williams with a brace in this second half. Cunningham the lone goal for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Final change for Antigua and Barbuda. They take off Brendan Skilling and throw on Zidane Williams for these final minutes. Different spelling, of course, from Zinedine Zidane, but still a great soccer name. Antigua and Barbuda with more defenders back. They almost were away anyhow. David Butler, tough moment for him on that third goal for Antigua and Barbuda, coming off his line and not arriving in time at a corner. Antigua and Barbuda not in a hurry to take this throw. Trying to kill some more time in the corner here. It's a good pitch on which to do that kind of thing when you're leading late. The free kick goes against Vaughn Jackson here. We've talked about it in prior games at this facility. The pitch here sees the ball tend to stay in play along its end lines and touch lines. And when you're nursing a late lead and trying to milk and wind down the clock, can help you quite a bit. This bounces all the way through. It's a race for it, and almost in for St. Vincent was Cavante Clark, who just tackled away from him at the last moment. It's a throw for them. Time growing short from their perspective. It sounded like a double or even a triple deflection. It's a goal kick. Again, being warned about time wasting. Goalkeeper Eric Moretta puts it right back in play as instructed. They haven't given up, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Played some good soccer today. And this is a fair challenge and then a wild hit. Ashford Grant Spring had a teammate to his left who wanted that ball played square. Matthew Joseph was in the area. At times it has been the composure in that final third that's let St. Vincent and the Grenadines down today. Other times it's been some poor luck. One way or the other, it's Antigua and Barbuda who have taken their chances and their opportunities, while St. Vincent and the Grenadines largely have not, outside of that 33rd minute goal by Zibian Cunningham. The three finishes for Antigua and Barbuda have been excellent. Brandon Satchel in the 15th minute on a counterattack, perfectly into the corner. The two headers from Greg Williams here in the second half. First one especially that he steered inside the far post after a great cross from Adonai Lee Francis. The third one, of course, the goalkeeper charging off his line and failing to get to the cross, but still had to make solid contact, Vaughn Jackson, and put it on frame, which he very firmly did. Offside flag against Antigua and Barbuda. As Pep Guardiola once very memorably said, caught by the cameras of the Amazon All or Nothing show about 7 or 8 years ago when it featured Manchester City after they drew 0-0 at Crystal Palace, a game that they dominated but just couldn't find a finish. Yelling at his players in the locker rooms. This is a chance here for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and unfortunately it's another that goes begging for them. Matthew Joseph. And this back header that was a really good one by Cavante Clark. Just couldn't find the inside of that post. And again, as I was beginning to talk about, Pep Guardiola shouting at his players after a draw at Crystal Palace years ago where they wasted chance after chance. He said, you have to score the goals, guys. You have to score the goals. As we're into 3 minutes of stoppage time. And unfortunately for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that's kind of been the story today. They scored one. They've had chances for multiple others, and they have not been able to finish those opportunities. So a lot to build on from their standpoint as they go forward as a program, both at this age level and beyond. For Antigua and Barbuda, closing in on what would be their first victory at this final stage of U17 qualifying in their program history. 2 additional minutes to play. St. Vincent and the Grenadines still attacking, still trying to pull one back. And they'll have an opportunity here. Big chance, another big save. This one from Eric Moretta, sticking out the left leg. And yet again, it just won't go in for St. Vincent. And hit from distance, and it'll be a goal kick, and that'll just about be that. Well, they were in. It was the substitute. It's a good stop. Really can't fault the finish that time too much. It's a really good save with the left leg by Eric Moretta. One more throw laid on for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but this appears to be Antigua and Barbuda's day. They'll be in no hurry to take this throw. The 3 minutes heavy lapsed. Referee Jonathan Laitone puts the whistle to his lips, and there is full time. It's a first ever victory in the final round of Concacaf U17 qualifying for Antigua and Barbuda as the Bena boys found the finishes today that St. Vincent and the Grenadines largely could not. A first half strike from Brandon Satchel, a second half double from Greg Williams. The reply from Zibian Cunningham, not enough for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who scored their first goal of the tournament but did not find their first points. It is Antigua and Barbuda with a historic day for their program. They'll go home with heads very much held high and 3 tasty points in the bag. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, some good building blocks as they go forward as well, but not their day on this afternoon. It was a rainy one in Guatemala City. It finished after 90 minutes. Antigua and Barbuda 3, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 1. It was a great game to watch here at the Estadio Cementos Progreso this evening as Antigua and Barbuda and St. Vincent and the Grenadines closed out their respective tournaments. The game that was full of attacking play. We started under sunshine in the late afternoon here in Guatemala City, and the early attacks were mostly from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who had the ball in the back of the net here. It was ruled out for handball. Then in the 15th minute, from their first big attack of the match, it was Antigua and Barbuda taking the lead against the run-up play. It was a razor-sharp finish from Brandon Satchel on a good through ball, but he still had a lot to do. And he finished clinically into that far corner. Antigua and Barbuda with the 1-0 advantage. And then the rain came, and it stuck around for a good while, and it made for some very difficult conditions. It probably should have been 2-0 here for Antigua and Barbuda, but in the 33rd minute, St. Vincent and the Grenadines drew level. The pullback from Camden Bishop, and then the ball squirming under goalkeeper Eric Moretta on the finish by Zibion Cunningham. And so it was 1-1 in the 33rd. Cunningham hitting it low, hitting it on frame, and in those conditions, that's always a good move. So it was 1-1 at halftime, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines started the second half well, just as they did in the first half. Cavante Clark was dangerous throughout, but was never quite able to find a way past the goalkeeper. That header there almost went in for Antigua and Barbuda. St. Vincent continued to press for the go-ahead goal, but they could not find it. And then they found themselves behind again in the 66th minute. It was a great run down this right side by Adonai Lee Francis, and then an even better cross. Look how good this ball in is, and what a good header as well from Greg Williams. Had to steer that inside the far corner and did so perfectly. It's a brilliant counterattack from Antigua and Barbuda. It deserved to be the match winner, and it was. And then 8 minutes later, it was 3-1, and again it was Greg Williams, goalkeeper, charging off his line, misjudging the flight of the ball, and Williams planting it into the back of the net. That was just about game, set, and match, although St. Vincent and the Grenadines had a few chances to get themselves back in it in the final minutes. This one carrying wide for Cavante Clark. He fed it into the middle, but they just couldn't find a finish. Besides that goal in the first half, St. Vincent, another one-on-one opportunity here that was repelled by Eric Moretta, and that was it. 3-1 to Antigua and Barbuda. So the updated table in Group E looks as such. Antigua and Barbuda end with 3 points. St. Vincent and the Grenadines wind up without a win in their 3 games. And both teams, both nations with lots to build on as they continue to improve here in Concacaf. The main event, though, coming up in just over an hour from this same stadium. You can see the fans already filing in eagerly. Highly anticipated here in Guatemala as the host nation will take on Haiti in a winner-take-all game. Haiti, of course, only need to draw since they have the goal differential tiebreaker. Guatemala trying to advance their first ever U17 World Cup. They will be roared on by this crowd at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We will join you for that. Can't wait. Until then, for our entire production crew, I'm Donnie Barnes. Good evening for now from the Estadio Cementos Progreso here in Guatemala City, where again it finished in this one, Antigua and Barbuda 3, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 1.